Well, I don't know about that. I just naturally live this way. So I guess if that's what it looks like, then that's what I am, man. So I love what Glenn and Victoria were saying about neighbors. Literally, the last neighborhood we lived in, we didn't know the name of one neighbor. We lived there for 4 years. I mean, we barely saw people out. It was horrible. I felt like, my only friend was Wilson, the soccer ball in my garage. And in 2020, we moved to a lake community. And during COVID, of all things, I mean, we live in a little, we call it, Lake Winnebago, but we call it the Wubble. It's a little bubble that we live in. There's a nice gate up at the front entrance, and there's one way in and one way out, or two ways in. One way in, there's two entrances, front and back, right? And there's a gate at the front. It's always open. It never closes, but we just feel like we live in this Wubble over here. And in the 3 years that we've lived here, we have taken 9 trips out of the country, around the country, with different neighbors in this neighborhood. I mean, it is like I have grown up here with my high school friends. And we've all been together since we were in kindergarten, is what it feels like. Everybody, I mean, like if I'm sitting in the community, we have a restaurant right across the street called the Yacht Club. We don't even have any yachts on our lake, but it sounds cool. So we go over to the yacht club, and I literally have to sometimes just pick my phone up and do a pan video of the people, just all different ages, all different walks of life, and everybody's hanging out like it's a class reunion. It is a blast. So I was just going to share, my journey started in 1991 in the real estate industry. When you're talking about community and people and finding those people that you want to be in your community, like Glenn was talking about. I mean, in 91, when I got into real estate, they don't teach you anything about how to do real estate in real estate school. You just literally go there to figure out how to pass the test. So for my first 3 years in real estate, I didn't know anything. I mean, I was a marketing guy, so I'm like copying and pasting brochures. Remember, I said 1991, the internet's not around yet. I'm copying and pasting black and white brochures, and I know no one in this area, trying to figure this thing out. After the first 3 years, I think I maybe made $10,000 in my first 3 years of real estate because I knew no one, and I'm trying to figure it out and how to make it work. But then I plugged in and I started going to conferences. Now I had been to trainings and I had been to some conferences and I had a whole drawer full of notes, and nothing was happening with them, but I recommitted back to the industry, and I started saying, all right, I need to start hanging out with these people because I'm doing all this, some of these things that I'm hearing at these conferences, and I'm not getting the same results that the person on stage. Like if they were looking for people that sell their houses themselves, for sale by owners, and they have this program, and I would go out and do what they just talked about, and I did not get the results they got, because when you're on stage, you don't talk about the 90% in the middle. You talk about rags to riches. Like I had nothing and now I list, 30 for sale by owners a year. They don't tell you about all that stuff in the middle that you got to do consistently, persistently. So I started doing that. Then what I would actually do is I'd go up and introduce myself. You know how people run up to stage and they'll ask a question? Oh no, I went up and just said, "Hey, I'm Brad Korn, Korn, Korn with a K. Such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for everything you shared." And then I was out of there. But I would track them down and I would find out where they lived. I became a stalker, if you want to call it. I wrote them a note. I called them. I stayed in touch with them. I became friends with them. And so I kind of interjected myself into my community, which was the people that were being successful every conference I went to. There was a point where Andy Andrews, author, was speaking on stage, and this was just my MO. I go up, I meet him, I find his address, I drop him a note, and I said, "Thank you, Andy, for everything you shared. I coach people in business now and would love to just know what information is available for me to share with my coaching clients that you shared on stage." It wasn't about me, it was about him. He sent me a whole box of every book, every CD, every DVD that's ever been created, from The Traveler's Gift, that stuff that he wrote. I didn't even know some of the books that he sent me. And he signed the book and put a personal note in there. That showed up within 48 hours of me well, of him probably getting that note, mail time, right? So the most amazing thing that really connects with me with community right now, a new kid was sitting in our in front of our group Tuesday at the real estate office. He got into real estate in 2019. I mean, 2020 is COVID, right? And in 4 years, taking into account COVID, probably wiping out a year and a half of somebody starting in real estate, he is sitting up front saying, you know what I did in the beginning was I found the top agents, the 8 top agents in the area, and I called them up and asked them if I could buy them lunch and pay them $1,000 to just sit with them and learn what they're doing. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, this kid's a genius. And that's what I did. I shadowed these people along my journey, and I would go to their office and hang out with them for a day, and I would take notes and I'd look at their systems, and then we became great friends. And when I said I interjected myself, I remember the first time I went to one of these big conferences with 200 of the top agents around the country, and I'm just this kid that just keeps showing up and sitting in the lobby, and I sneak into rooms where they're having little masterminds and sitting there, and I'm standing in the lobby and they're all getting in a car going out for the night. And they're like, well, Brad, are you coming? And I was like, I'm in. And I just jumped in a car with a total stranger and took off with them. And that those people became my friends. This kid has done the same thing. And in 4 years, he is now literally helping people that he loves by buying houses, flipping them, and giving them the profit. He has given away $150,000 a year, and he just smacked me upside the head and went, "Whoa!" Like this kid in 4 years has taken it to a whole new level. So it's just get around, be on purpose about being around the people you want to be around, or that you. I mean, if you're like, "Oh, that person's awesome," go up and introduce yourself, and then stay in touch with them. I mean, right now, I think somebody said it the other day. You could literally go anywhere in the country and I would have a place to stay. I bet you if I got stranded with a flat tire and I don't have my jack, I could probably call Glenn Morshower. Are you kidding me? And just say, dude, I'm in trouble. And I bet you he would invite me over, or he would come lift my car up, right? I mean, we haven't personally met yet. We've crossed paths a couple times in life. There's another fun thing is how you just kind of keep showing up again. I've got a picture with me and Glenn standing in front of a logoed, backdrop from, gosh, 15 years ago. We didn't know each other then, but now we're showing up in this room. So it's just that any of you, I mean, Michelle, I could probably show up, knock on your door at 6 a.m. and say, I'm starving. Do you got anything to eat? And you would invite me to stay there as long as I needed to stay there. And we've never met. You don't know me. So anyway, so I'm gonna end it there.
Michelle saying not at this hour.
Yeah, right.
Only when you do that, you have your flamethrower.
Right. Well, when I show up, she goes, wait, you don't look like anything like your picture that's on Clubhouse every day. You look like you're a homeless man. No.
If you just show up in the middle of winter wearing a Hawaiian shirt, she'll know who it is.
This room's a perfect,
Like
this room is a perfect example of community. So I'll land the plane. Well, I'll kind of crash the plane there. I'm way over time.
It's funny, I'll crash the plane. But something you said is be intentional. Be on purpose of where it is that you're spending your time, you're spending your energy. Be intentional. Be mindful of the people you're surrounding yourself with. There's people on this app that I just won't spend any time on stage with. I have very few people blocked on the app. Well, aside from all the knuckleheads that come in, I probably have a whole bunch that come in and say, send me $300 and I'll show you how to make $5 billion a day with cryptocurrency or whatever. All those people get blocked, by the way. You see them in the chat, and I'm the one that deleted them. They were blocked too. But there's a couple of people that I have blocked on here just because I know that they are completely out of integrity, that they're living a lie and deceiving people. That's really the only people that I really block out. And then, of course, so that's how I roll. But again, it is about being intentional, who you're spending time with. And again, here's a good one. Here's a little cookie. Here's a little fortune cookie wisdom, even though Jason already left. Is leave the table when love yourself and respect yourself. Love yourself enough to leave the table when respect is no longer being served. So make sure that you're not allowing people to sit at your table that don't deserve to be there. that don't bring anything to the table, just come and take and break shit and wreak havoc. Because there's a whole lot of people like that. And just make sure that you're very mindful of that, who you're spending time with. As the saying goes from years past, you lay down with dogs, you get fleas. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you're not careful and you're hanging around the wrong people for too long, people think of you as being one of those wrong people. So be very mindful of where you are and how you walk. Because in life, I think it was Bukowski that said, what matters most is how well you walk through the fire and really who you're walking with. So yeah, community and who it is that you can rely on, fall back on, make a call, have a shoulder. And I love what you said, because I think that not only in the country, anywhere you go, but I'm fortunate to say that I've been able to make friends and acquaintances around the world. So it is about the community that you're forming. Because your community speaks a lot about you. So thank you, everyone. Let me just do a quick room reset, and then